Hey friends, welcome back to the Talkin' Tile podcast, the official podcast of the How to Tile Like a Pro brand. I'm your host, Frankie Martinez, and I want to thank you for tuning in today. We have a cool topic, fun topic that we're talking about. We're talking about the cons of the tile trade. In our last episode, we talked about the pros of the tile trade, some of the benefits of the tile trade, and some of the reasons why I absolutely love the tile trade. But today, there's always pros and cons to everything. So today we're going to talk about the cons of the tile trade, or some of the struggles. But these aren't just my struggles or my opinions. These are the struggles by tradespeople just like you. And we actually got the responses are your responses. So I want to thank each and every one of you who responded through Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. I compiled all those responses together, put them together, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So we're actually going to read off some of the stuff that you guys shared. And funny thing is, there's almost everything is the exact same things I was going to share anyway, but it's great to get feedback. It's great to hear from people in the tile industry, not just myself, to see what is everybody else struggling with. What is the things that, and these aren't actually deal breakers, for some people they are. Some of these reasons are probably the reasons why people quit the tile trade and don't stick with it. Some of these reasons are just things that give us in the trade headaches throughout the day. But regardless, we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the good things or how we can find solutions to those problems or struggles. And sometimes we just got to muscle up and press through. So anyways, let's go ahead and start with the most common struggle or con of the tile trade. Now, this is about 80% of your responses. So, and this is across, like I said, all platforms that we're on. So it's a pretty good response. It's a pretty nice to know that the number one thing that most people in the tile trade are struggling with is finding good, committed, hard workers. Other people say finding the right people, guys that actually want to work. The entitlement generation isn't stepping up with any ambition or desire to learn the trade. So these are just some of the comments I categorize it is finding good help specifically with this the younger generation. So there are a lot of people in there. I've seen some of you in the comments. So some of you young guys who are learning the trade, hustling the trade, we appreciate you and thank you. We know you're going to carry the torch to the next generation. But it's pretty common to find that it is hard for people to find good, committed, hard workers, committed workers, people that are just going to want to really learn the trade. And I mean, I myself, I have the same issues. We have a lot of guys that really want to learn the trade. Oh, I'm all in this. I want to learn it. And they drop out, within a year because of various reasons. Some don't realize what the work is going to be like, and it's not uncommon to see that in any career, any profession. It's not just the tile trade. I mean, there are people who go to college, get a degree, do the job, and realize, I don't like doing this job. This job sucks, and they switch careers after they invested all that time and, more importantly, all that money. Maybe the time would be more important, actually. So they waste all the time and money to get a degree and to find out they don't like it. So same thing happens in the trade. Less, should I say, loss in the trade because you just lose a year and you earn money instead of losing money. So but in every career, people you got to find the right fit is what I believe, right? You got to find the right fit. So for me, this job, career, the tile trade was the right fit for me. When in my life, when I was 19 years old, 18 years old, this was the right fit for me. I stuck with it, and it's been a huge blessing to me and my family. For other people, maybe it's just not the right fit, and there's nothing wrong with that. This trade, like I always say, it's not for everybody, but it will reward those who stick with it. So another reason why, and these are just one of the things that I put together in response to your responses, finding hard work. I think another reason is just the learning curve. I mean, I know a lot of guys personally that, they join the tile trade and they think they're just going to be setting showers all day long, and or right within the first week or so, and it doesn't work like that. You gotta, unless you have experience, when you start at the bottom, you gotta start at the bottom, and it's a very big learning curve for people just to learn how to hold the trowel right, how to trowel right. I mean, one of the things I get my guys doing right off the bat is back buttering tile, troweling the wall, troweling tile, and that, to be able to learn how to hold the trowel right, how to trowel back butter without getting thin set all over the place. It takes a little bit of time. It takes experience. It's a learning curve, and in anything you do, there is nothing that's going to bring value to your life that isn't hard in the beginning. And the only reason it's hard is because you don't have any experience. When you have experience, when you put in the time, when you pay your dues to learn something, and it becomes easier, super easy, because you've just learned how to do it. So I want to encourage people who are struggling with that in the trade. There is a big learning curve, and just like with anything, you got to press through the learning curve. You got to not quit. Trust me, I wanted to quit so many times when I first started the trade, but I thank God I didn't quit, because I was able to get some good results out of it. And so there's definitely a learning curve. I think that's one of the reasons why people fall off. Another one is, well, actually, this is I met one of the contractors that got me into the trade. I saw him at a tile store years after. Yeah, I worked with him only for like a year, and then moved on, and then came back to work for him as an employee, as an installer, and then moved on. But I saw him after a many year gap of not seeing him in the tile supply store, and I just wanted to thank him. I just say, hey, thank you for getting me into the trade. It worked out good for me, and I'm enjoying my business and all that. And it was funny, his response was, he goes, yeah, because you're one of the ones that stuck. He goes, I put a lot of kids through college, And the truth is that that's what happens. A lot of people, they get into the trade to earn money or whatever, to think they're going to like the trade, and they end up running to go to college or just switch up careers because it's just not for them. So I think the key to that is just realizing that we are going to have to find the people that this trade is made for. And it is absolutely made for certain people. Some people who aren't going to excel anywhere else, they will excel in this trade, and it will be a huge blessing to them and their future families. So this is a great career, but it's not for everyone. So definitely, filtering out, figuring out what's, going to work is important. And like I said, it happens in every career. It's very rare for you to get your first job and stick with your first job the rest of your life. It doesn't really happen. I think another reason why or struggle is so one of the responses was not just finding workers, but good, good skilled people. And I think, realizing that there is no proper training, official training for tile installers. So I think that is something that needs to change. And I'm definitely training people one-on-one, and I'm interested in starting physical trainings on live in-person trainings. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments, and you will be the first to know about our in-person trainings. Because I think if you would train people, maybe their skills will be up there, and they might stick with it and make a good career out of it. Either way, that is the biggest struggle of people in the tile trade. And these aren't just contractors; these are installers as well, because they need someone to help them. And there's in the trade, there's an installer and then the helper or apprentice. And so the helper's got to do some of the grunt work, and finding someone who wants to do that seems to be the biggest struggle of the trade. So let's move on to some of the other struggles we have here. The next one is the struggle is when your boss doesn't want to pay holidays or a bonus after a big job. So as a boss, I see both sides of this. I understand. I do think, holiday pay might be something great to consider. When I was an employee, I was in the tile union. I don't know if there's a tile union where you are, but it wasn't around all the time. It was a kind of a experimental thing for me. I mean, for San Diego County. And so I was in it for a good couple years, and it was great. It was great for an employee. We had full health coverage, vision coverage, dental coverage. We had a retirement program for us. So we had a lot of great benefits, and I loved it. It came at a great time when we were having our kids. So the hospital bills were able to get paid. So it was a huge blessing. And there was one other company that did have kind of a health insurance thing. So I'm not sure, some of the bigger companies have it, some of the smaller companies don't. I do think that would be maybe a perk. I'm really looking into that as a perk and a benefit to get employees to stick around and stay longer. And maybe a good incentive for people to join the trade is for some of the benefits, because a lot of people join other jobs just strictly for the benefits. So that is something to consider if you are a tile contractor and you're trying to find guys. Maybe we could experiment with giving them holiday pays, getting some health benefits, some retirement programs. Those things might be a good perk. So I know it costs a lot, and as depending on our jobs, overhead's high, and everything seems to be going up. We've had to raise our prices pretty high, well, higher than they used to be, because all the materials went up with inflation going on right now. So everything going up. Of course, it might not be the best time, but it's something that I do want to look into, and maybe it would solve some of our problem. Honestly, maybe it would be worth the investment to invest in some of these monetary benefits and bonuses for our employees to keep them around, and getting a bonus after the big job. That one, as an employee, obviously, there's ways to honor your employees, and I like to do that too. We always like to go out to eat. I take them out to eat, and I'm not talking about just taco shops. We've gone to great Brazilian steak houses, and we do great things to celebrate. I like to, and I think a bonus after a big job would be great. Obviously, depends on every situation, because the bonus could be a raise. It could be just a little actual financial bonus, or it could be going out to celebrate or something like that. But then you always got to consider, as a boss myself, there's just because your employees have done a great job at one time, it's like employees don't see it. But especially when you're training people, there's a season where you're taking the loss when they're breaking tools and just taking longer than expected. We eat it. Bosses eat that. Employers eat that cost. So when you finally get something that's profitable, it's not fully all profit. It's some of it is going to compensate for all the loss we took at a different time. Anyways, so that's just more financial stuff. But I definitely think that maybe benefits, holiday pay, that's something that I am considering. So and maybe let me know in the comments, what do you think about that? If you're an employer, what do you think about that? Do you think that's worth it? It's worth it to do that. Are you doing it? If you are doing it, let me know. Does it increase your employee retention rate? Let me know how that works for you. I really want to know if this is something worth pursuing. And if you are an employee in the tile industry and you currently don't have benefits, or you do, let me know how this is working out for you. I'm trying to see what can solve some of these problems for the tile industry. So if you are an employee and you're saying, yes, that would be a deal maker for me, it would really help me, encourage me to stick along. If we had a little bit of benefits and stuff like that, then that's great. Please let us know. If it's not a deal breaker, if let me know what is the number one thing that keeps you around or would help you stick around, because I think that would help all of us in the tile industry learn from each other and kind of, help create a strong industry. So, okay, we're going to move on to another response we got. Says, only thing that I am struggling with after being in the trade since high school is that my back and knees and ankles are taking a toll on me, as the last 5 years I've been working solo. Unfortunately, it's hard to find any young people that want to get paid to be a helper and learn the trade and make money. Again, this is going back to the difficulty in finding people to work in the trade. That's totally understandable. Hopefully we can figure this out, and it's a give and take. I think we can talk about this maybe more If you have some insight on that, let me know, and maybe we'll get you on the podcast to talk about this, because there's a few solutions we got to find in there to. I have a few ideas too, and that maybe we could talk about in the future that could maybe solve that issue. But the other one says my back and knees, are ankles taking a toll, and that's a common as well, because it is a physical job. It is a physical job, and a physically demanding job. If you're installing, especially nowadays, tiles are getting big, man. Tiles are getting huge. We thought tiles are big. It was getting, I think 2.5 foot by 5 foot were some of the big tiles we've been setting. And then now they got the big panel tiles that are 5 foot by 10 foot long. They're just getting big. Thank God for some tools like the Grabo. That's really cool coming out. If you don't know what that is, I'll put a link in the description to a video I did on the Grabo. And so there are a lot of tools that are helping us, be able to work with these big, large tiles, but they are big, they are large. And because of that, our body takes a toll on it, and we just finished a big plank tile job, 5 foot long. And then we went to the next job and they were like 3x6 subway tiles. Oh man, it felt amazing. Tiny little guys. It's great to work with those. But with that being said, yes, it is a physically demanding job. Yes, it will take a toll on your body. But with that being said, you got to treat your body like an athlete, is what I like to say. If you're in the trades, treat your body like an athlete. There are athletes that can continue to perform, in their older age. I know tradesmen in their 70s. There's one guy in their 80s that just retired, and he was still setting tile. I want to meet him. I'm trying to get him on the podcast. But the thing is that it can be done. And the thing is just to be wise and smart with our bodies, and treat your body like an athlete. Take care of yourself, eat right, take, good supplements if you're not getting the nutrients and minerals you need. Exercise, keep your body strong. Stretch is important. And, because it's not just the trade. I know people, okay, I'm going to reveal, I'm a huge John Mayer fan, okay? I play guitar, okay? And John Mayer is an amazing guitar player. So I'm a huge John Mayer fan because I think his guitar playing is amazing. Don't knock him for his pop songs. Deep dive into his music and you'll see some amazing guitar playing. Anyways, I just saw, I think it was last week, he had to sit down the rest of his show, or I think he might have even canceled one, something like that. But he definitely sat down second half of his show because his back went out. And so his back went out. He just had to sit there and play guitar without standing up. And so, of course, my back has gone out a couple times, even on the job, which was embarrassing. But, it's just interesting, because people always judge, well, it's because of what you do. You're in the tile trade. That's why, these things go, you're working, you need to get a different job. Well, here's John Mayer, okay, who I love, by the way, but he's out there performing, playing guitar. Okay, he's not setting tile. He's not lifting up the kind of weight that we lift, and his back still goes out. The point of the story is it doesn't matter what you do. If you don't take care of your body, you're going to have issues. And so I just do that in a sense to defend the trade, because yes, you can have physical, stuff go wrong with your body, but it's not because of the trade. It's because you're not taking care of yourself. We're not doing things right. And some bodies are just built different. Some need to stretch more, exercise, build up muscle to help you in your movements. But regardless, the physical toll it takes on your body is real, but it's something that can be preventable. And just like an athlete, if you treat your body like an athlete, you will be able to do the things you need to do and succeed in the tile trade without having it tear you apart and make you have to quit your job or not be able to do it anymore. Remedy that and just have a successful career in the tile trade. Let's move on. Now this guy, he's been I've seen him on YouTube commenting a lot, so thank you for that. And he says, I've been in the business for a bit over 25 years, and this recession is really bad where I live. I do new housing, and people aren't buying new houses because of interest rates. I've never seen it this bad. I'd say that's really bad con since I depend on new homes. Yes, I could do small renovations in customer occupied homes, but it's not what I like. So yeah, that's definitely, not a good thing. And I remember in 2008, during that recession, I knew a lot of guys in that field. There's one big contractor down here in San Diego who that's what he did. He did we call them track homes here in San Diego. I don't know what you call them there, but track homes where they build a lot of new houses and they're all the same, or there's like four models, they just replicate them. I've worked in that industry a while as an employee. But yeah, so this guy, that was his bread and butter. That's what his tile company did. He was very good at it. They had a good system. But when the recession hit, obviously all that new development paused. So yeah, if you weren't in the remodeling business, your company took a toll, because it did stop. It did stop the business there. So I think that, you know, definitely if it gets that bad, you need to make a decision to yeah, like this guy said he doesn't like to do the remodels, but if it comes down to doing remodels and or not having work, then it does suck for you to not like that, but I mean it's better to work than to not, and for me, I'd say about maybe 85 to 90% of our work is custom homes, either remodel or brand new, but they're all custom homes and not tract homes. It's one single family residence. A little bit of that is commercial. The rest of it's a little bit of light commercial work. But so for me, I'm grateful for that, because during the last recession that we had, a lot of my friends were out of work. A lot of those big companies were out of work. But I was so grateful to be working with some contractors that would continue to build homes for the wealthy, really wealthy of the city, and it was great because we were able to continue to work at a slower pace. We definitely had to lay off some employees and tighten it up a little bit, but we were able to move on and survive and keep working through that recession. So yeah, sometimes if different economic times, seasons can affect us differently, but we have to be able to adapt, and that's just one of the things you got to do. I prefer custom homes. It's what I'm good at. It's what I like. But if I got to jump into tract homes or commercial to survive, then so be it. Let's rock and roll. Let's get it done. You got to adapt to survive. So let's see. The next another question or response we had was the slaying of ADU regulations and the unrealistic push to phase out single family dwellings will devastate tradesmen in the industry exponentially. So yeah, there is a lot of new regulations. We always got to stick by them though, and we got to just do what we got to do. I definitely agree. There is an unrealistic push to phase out single family dwellings in those tract homes and stuff like that. It's unbelievable how fast they come out and they pump them out, and the work is, sometimes it's good. It depends on the installer. For many years I worked doing that, and we had to go fast, and it was piece price. So it was exciting to go fast because they would just pay us by what we got done. So me and my apprentice at the time, we had a great system down, and we could knock out, houses so fast. And we could literally do like a house a day with 2 showers, some kitchens and countertops, stuff like that. So that was when we were doing tile countertops, but yeah, they pump them out so fast. But when you're good, you can figure it out, how to do it really fast but good. The problem is the noobs. It's the new guys that join, and they're trying to pump them out just as fast as the guys with experience. And that's where the quality really, really tanks, and it gets bad for the trade, and it leads to a lot of problems. So definitely, I do like about, custom homes. Sometimes we do get pressure too to go super fast for whatever reason. the contractor has lined up after us, or we got a tight window for the tile, or something else took too long. And so now the finished trades don't have as much time because they took up all the time in the beginning. And so we get pressured. That happens a lot. So, it does, it's not the best. It does suck to have to be rushed, but you got to roll with it. And sometimes we just got to, pump out some long days or work a little extra to get things done the best we can. But I always like to say you can't rush art. But sometimes people don't want art. They just need to get the job done. But you can't rush art. So we love to take our time. Not that we're slow, but we like to just make sure the job's going to get done right. I think one of the last ones we have, a couple more we got. Hope this is helpful, by the way. Hope you're enjoying this conversation here, kind of replying to your responses. Hopefully I was able to reread all of your responses. Some of them I categorized, so I didn't read each one. But let me know in the comments what would be a great topic for the next Tile podcast. We'll have different guests on here to maybe answer the comments with me together. So let me know what you think would be a great topic. I'd love to get your feedback on that. Okay, I think we got 2 more to go. It says, material quality is my biggest challenge. 3x6 subway tile should not be bowed. Absolutely agree. Unless it's like some handmade stuff that's intentionally bowed. But or cupped like that. But yeah, definitely, yeah, this one's categorized with it too. It says freaking cheap tile cracking on you. Yeah, there is bad tile. There is bad, cheap, low quality tile. And there's a few stores that I know in San Diego that are getting a rep by me. I won't call them out by name. DM me if you want to know which ones to stay away from. But there are a few tile stores here that do sell some pretty nasty stuff. And so the thing is, I let my clients know we have to inspect the tile, before we do it. Sometimes, unfortunately, a lot of jobs, sometimes I don't even see it in person. We just do photos and measurements, and I show up to do the job. Because we're so booked on time, we don't even have time for that. So we just show up when we're going to do it. I look at the tile, and of course they're expecting it to get done within a couple of days. And I show them, this is your tile. This is what it's doing. You tell me what you want to do. Do you want me to install this, or do you want to switch it out? And, so sometimes we just have to install it, and because they don't want to wait for the schedule or whatever. And of course, a lot of times it makes it harder for me because I have to adapt, and, sometimes it takes a little longer to compensate for the nasty tile. And sometimes we'll upcharge them. Sometimes we won't, if it's something small or whatever. If I don't know. Sometimes we just don't do it. We just muscle through it. I probably should, I'm going to probably get reprimanded from you guys. I probably should all the time upcharge it. But, anyways, we get it done. It's good. There's one job I'll put on a link in the description about a crooked sheet mounted tile. And so I'll show you what I ended up doing on this job. This is exactly one of those jobs. We showed up on the job, and it was a sheet mounted hexagon with some gold trim inlay, and they were just crooked. There are a lot of them so crooked, but I just set them and cut them and fixed them as I went along. It took a little extra time, a lot of extra time actually, to be honest. But I put a link, and you can see that video if you'd like. And so yeah, I think that, there are a lot of pros and benefits of the tile trade. The benefits of the tile trade. If we're talking about the cons, I know you probably already heard the last podcast talking about the benefits. If you haven't, I'll recap some of them that I remember. Is basically, it's a through COVID we learned when a lot of jobs were shut down, this construction is considered essential. So for me, I think that's great that our career, our trade is essential, so we don't have to worry about being out of work in that sense. Once you're not learning a job, you're learning a skill, and with a skill, you can do whatever you want with that skill. You can demand your own price with your skill, even as an employee, and then you can even start your own business and do whatever you want with your skills there. So there's a lot of benefits. I love going to different job sites. It refreshes my mind. It keeps me I like variety, so I don't think I would ever be able to do like an office job where I'm going to the same space every single day. It just drives me crazy. So I like to variety. I like to see different things. So for me, those are some of the major benefits of the trade. There are cons, which some of these things are. I think one of the biggest cons that I could agree with is just, yeah, definitely finding good people to stick with it. And a lot of times, just like myself, I mean, I was thinking, I was a great employee at a time, and my employers that I worked for, they loved having me around, but I just wanted to move out and move on and start my own business and do that. So I understand that. And, there's incentives that, I would do for someone like that, as my employee, to give them incentives to stick around. But sometimes, when you're an installer and you're good and you just want to start your own thing, and then, we as an employer, we got to understand that. So that's just one of the cons. Your body, is something you just definitely need to, keep under consideration, because it is a physically demanding body every single day. Of course, not to the same degree every day. Sometimes it's lighter than others, and luckily with all these different, improvements from tool companies and like, we still mud float all of our shower. Well, I would say about 90% of our showers, which is a physically demanding to mud float your shower. It's probably the most physically demanding part of our job. But with all these new things like the Curdy board and all these other things, those are things that I'm looking into. We're starting to use them a little bit, and it's nice to lighten the load a little bit. So maybe we'll switch over to that. But regardless, I did want to talk and share some of these replies I got from you. So I do, again, thank you for letting me know these replies, responding, and I'm grateful to hear your feedback. Hopefully, talking about it on the podcast would kind of, help you out, give you some insights and maybe some solutions. If you come up with a better solution that I am totally missing, then just let me know. Let me know what solution you think would work out, because it'd be great to talk about it on this podcast. So hopefully this helped you out. You found it enjoyable. Again, I thank you for listening to the Talk and Tile podcast. And let me know in the comments what you want to hear next. Tile on, my friends. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.